So I worked hard leading up to Christmas. I celebrate Christmas. And then over Christmas, I did a bunch of cooking and I really enjoyed having company and doing a big dinner on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. But I noticed that my nervous system was getting pretty jacked up. I went to a friend's house. I knew they had a dog. When they opened the door, the dog barked and I let out a little scream. And that was proof to me, if I even needed it, that my nervous system was pretty jacked up. Actually, I was having trouble sleeping and I was either amped up and a little jumpy or I was tired, but I wasn't, as I said, I wasn't sleeping well. And all of a sudden, I hit a wall. I was supposed to go out to lunch, a kind of a holiday celebration lunch, and I canceled. And I went to bed, um, and I slept really deeply. I did another holiday thing that night, but then the next day, the same thing happened. And I just gave up and I was in bed and I kind of moved in and out of sleep, but I was in bed for 18 hours. And I kept thinking I ought to be doing other marvelous things, but I didn't. And then I came back to my life slowly. Now, I had the luxury of going through a holiday that way. Your holiday might have been a lot more fun than mine, but I realized that I had, without necessarily intending to, reset my nervous system. Hi, I'm Fran Gallagher. I'm an intuition coach and consultant. And I really think that if we don't have some kind of a spiritual focus, some kind of spiritual practice, it's really hard to put our lives into context. And it's really hard not to increase our susceptibility, our vulnerability to anxiety. There's a great book out there called Open Focus Brain. And in it, the authors talk about how if we develop only closed focus, which is what we learn in school, to block out the world and only focus on numbers and letters and reading and writing and arithmetic, if we only do that, we are going to uh, send our nervous system upward toward anxiety. That has certainly been my experience. And just as I have used different forms of exercise to condition my physical body, I've learned a number of different methods of meditation over the years to condition my nervous system. If we don't condition our nervous system, it's just going to get jacked up more and more in this society because there's a lot of stimulation. There's a lot of reason to get it jacked up. You know, I use the metaphor, the example of a thermostat. Uh, there are a lot of people who, as they get older, they turn that thermostat up and up. And the range that used to work for them, let's just say from 60 to 68, slowly goes up until we're talking uh, 68 to 70, whatever. And of course, this is degrees Fahrenheit. Uh, that's what happens to our nervous system if we don't condition it. We just start allowing for more adrenaline and more adrenalized moments. So maybe you're better at this than I am, but you know, I'm looking at Christmas dinner and I get amped up. So I am convinced that the way that I do things can get turned down a little bit in terms of how amplified my nervous system is, how close I am to that range that is anxiety. Because of course, then that's the price I pay. Is I may really pull off a big dinner, but then I may be facing anxiety the next day, or a kind of tiredness that just doesn't allow me to stop and rest. So, uh, join me this Friday. I'm going to lead a guided visualization where we're going to turn down the nervous system. We're going to reset it to a lower level. In the meantime, I want to tell you a number of ways to reset your nervous system. The first way is simply to have quiet. Turn off the television, turn off the radio, stop listening to music for a little while, and have some quiet. If you can, number two is rest. Rest in the quiet. And I know some people are going to say that they rest well when they're listening to music, or they're listening to podcasts, or they're watching television. I'm going to say that there is a kind of rest that happens in the quiet that is much more nourishing to your nervous system than any other kind of resting. The next thing is to start taking yourself and your body and the cues you are given more and more seriously. Your body is telling you whether it's your need for sleep, maybe your need for sleep has increased, maybe it's the fact that you're having trouble sleeping at all. Maybe it's anxiety. These things that are what I just experienced, and they allowed me to listen to my body and slow down. Actually, it was only a couple of days. And I know if your body is telling you that and your life is super duper busy, maybe a couple days just seems completely out of reach. I get it. But if you spend some time in the quiet, you're going to begin to at least slowly reset your system. Now, another thing is to begin to pay attention to what might be your intuition. Uh, my rational mind wanted to go to lunch, for instance, but my intuition and my body were just screaming no. It literally made me feel sick. I was all dressed up and ready to go, and I felt sick at the idea of leaving. And I went to bed. Of course, I did let people know I canceled. But sometimes our body is just not going to take no for an answer. A fourth thing that you can do is find something to focus on that requires some quiet, focused attention. You know, as I came back to activity, I spent some time working with my beautiful plants and checking them out and really noticing where they were in terms of their need for water, and taking time to give some of them the flowering plant uh, fertilizer, some of them green plant fertilizer, and then diluting the fertilizer for my friends who are succulents. And it really pleased me and gave me a lot of contentment and helped sort of establish that reset to my nervous system. And I found that I could sleep better, I could meditate more easily and more deeply. And I really felt the reset. So I hope you will do a couple things for yourself. There is a great poem by Richard Brautigan, Karma Repair Kit. Take a look at it, follow the directions, and enjoy this new year. Thank you. Oh, and in the new year, I have Trust Your Gut, Intuition for Decisions That Matter. And it's my longer term program, it's 3 months, for developing these skills I just talked about. So you're going to be learning a simple, powerful meditation technique. You're going to learn literally how to trust your gut. What are the questions to ask yourself? How do you distinguish between the voice of criticism and that inner voice that is the voice of intuition? You'll find out. So register, and I will have the link below in the comments. Thanks so much.